A for Anna says, how to start thinking in English then translating the sentence to English. Maybe we could say, how can I start thinking in English instead of translating sentences to English? Which is very important, right? Because if you're always thinking in your own language and then translating over from one language to the next, back and forth all the time, then every time you say something, you have to carry around a big bag of the other thing, right? I want to say this sentence in English, so I have to carry around a huge bag of my own language that goes along with that, and I have to go back and forth every time, pull 100 things out of the bag. It's very tiring. It's exhausting. I don't want to do that. And you shouldn't. You shouldn't do that. You shouldn't have to do that, right? And there is this sort of standard answer that teachers give. Well, you have to surround yourself with the language. You have to start using the language and learning in the language, learning other things in the language. Immerse yourself. And that is right. That is a correct that is a correct answer, right? But it's not as simple as just saying that you have English all around you, consuming English all the time. That helps. But also, you have to have the right attitude when doing that, right? So I have a course called Building Your English Brain, and it's all about how to think in English, strategies for doing it, exercises for doing it. But the most important thing is to separate yourself from this assumption that if you know how to say something in English, then you have to know how to say that exact thing in your own language. That is an assumption that is not necessarily true. And in fact, if you meet... Sorry about the sirens. There must be some sort of emergency near my house. You hear that? Must be a bad day out there. Hope they're okay. So if you meet someone who is bilingual or a polyglot fully, right, and they're speaking in English at a native level, they're speaking in another language, Chinese or French, at another, at also a native. Wow, that's really loud. At a native level, if you ask this person, right, how do I say this idiom in English? How do I say that in French? How do I say this idiom in Chinese? They might, and I've interviewed a lot of people who are really good at 3, 4, 5 languages. They might think for a second. And sometimes they'll say, I don't know. I guess it would be something like, and then they'll try. So there is this assumption that when I'm learning English, I have to always relate my own language to it. That if I don't know how to say it in my language, I don't really know it. But that's not what an English brain is. Building an English brain is building a way of thinking and a mindset that doesn't have your language in it, and not assuming that you don't have to know what that is in your language, right? And for me, when I say some things in Chinese, I often don't know how to say that in English. Like there are a lot of food items, for example, in Chinese. I have no idea how to say them in English. But why would I need to know how to say them in English? As long as I can say them in Chinese and get done what I need to get done, that's fine. So that's the first step, is to just get this idea out of your mind that there has to be a connection between them. There does not. Okay? So think of yourself kind of like a baby. When you're learning the English language, if you learn an idiom and you understand it and you know how to use it and you see how people use it, oh, you use it in this situation. Oh, that's interesting. Don't go a step further and say, all right, now that I know that, I'm going to try to connect it back to my language. That's my safe space. That's my foundation. I'm going to bring it back to my comfort zone and I'm going to pull it into my language. No, stop before you do that and say, it's good enough to just know it in English, and I'll stop there. And if you ask me, how do you say that in your language? I might say, I don't know, because it really doesn't matter, okay? So that's the first thing, the right attitude or the right way of thinking about it, and then all the other stuff. And then, yes, surround yourself with the language. Try to immerse yourself. Get involved in online English communities. Do groups where people are talking about things, not learning the language, but talking about other things. Find an interest and then pursue that interest in an English community, or pursue that interest with English, whatever it may be. Read books. And when you read, don't assume that you have to look up every word in English. Try to figure it out from the context. Listen to podcasts, watch movies, and constantly push yourself out of your comfort zone. And you'll find that your comfort zone will change over time. But always remind yourself, if I don't know how to say it in my language, that's okay. It doesn't matter. Because native English speakers clearly don't know it in my language, so therefore it's not necessary. Okay. That is the definition of thinking in English. That is the definition of an English brain. Hope that makes sense. Guys, if you haven't already, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, and also check out my full courses in the links in the description.